All right, you're watching Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. A live look at Santa Monica, California. A rainy Santa Monica, that is. You can barely make out the Santa Monica Pier. We are hearing that the Trump administration announced earlier today new oil drilling off of the California and Florida coasts for the first time in decades. This is advancing a project that critics say could harm coastal communities and ecosystems. This comes as President Trump is seeking to expand U.S. oil production. A live look at Tampa. Specifically, I believe this is actually St. Pete that we're looking at. Nonetheless, let's check in with Fox 13 Tampa's Briona Arradondo. She's here with us. Briona, what are you hearing about the latest?
Yeah, so Austin, I can tell you that some environmental groups actually sued the federal government earlier this week for the Trump administration's plan with this. And this was even before Florida became a bigger part of the picture. And so tonight they're saying that if this were to go through, that it would break a promise that President Trump made. Some changes may be on the horizon for Florida's slice of paradise.
And now this administration just said, nope. We're no longer going to protect it. It's open for business.
Martha Collins lives in St. Pete and heads up the environmental group Healthy Gulf. That organization, Center for Biological Diversity and others, sued the federal government this week for its initial plan to put more oil rigs in the Gulf.
Our lawsuit is asking the court to stop the Trump administration from issuing leases until it fully complies with the law. So that means actually considering the environmental consequences of its actions.
The lawsuit argues the Fed hasn't done that yet. The plan auctions off 80 million acres for oil and gas drilling in the Gulf, and an expanded plan announced Thursday includes 6 offshore leases in the eastern Gulf, 100 miles off the coast of Florida. It's not something you'd see from the beach, but environmental advocates argue that doesn't matter.
That's always been a debate. I mean, if you see it, doesn't really exist. So the bottom line is whether you see it or not, you're going to feel and see the impacts of it.
Healthy Gulf took this video of infrastructure in other areas of the Gulf, saying what you see here is the tip of an iceberg.
I mean, it's not just a rig off the shore. There has to be a pipeline that gets that oil to the land. You know, and then there has to be a processing plant on land to be able to process that product.
Environmental groups say this breaks decades of precedent and bipartisan protection. It also goes back on Trump's own word when he signed a moratorium in 2020 on drilling off Florida's coast through 2032. U.S. Senator Rick Scott of Florida posting on X, Florida's coast must remain off the table. And Florida Democratic Party Chair Nikki Fried sent a statement saying, we are just 15 years past the horrific tragedy of the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. To open our state up to another such attack on our precious natural resources would be a travesty. The office of Governor Ron DeSantis sent us a statement saying, in part, our administration supports the 2020 presidential memorandum and urges the Department of Interior to reconsider and to conform to the 2020 Trump administration policy. And the biggest concern here, of course, is for local tourism, as well as impacts to water quality and also the local wildlife as well, especially after the impacts from that 2010 oil spill. In the meantime, public comment for this will last about 60 days, and that opens up on November 24th. Austin?
All right, Briona reporting for us live tonight. Thanks.